The ANC today intensifies its elections campaign with its national officials led by President Cyril Ramaphosa doing door-to-door campaigns. This engagement program aims to galvanize communities ahead of the national and provincial elections. It also comes a day after the ANC submitted its candidate list and all required documentation to the IEC for it to be eligible to take part in the general elections. Our reporter Juniour Khumalo is in Ekurhuleni and joins us now. Of course, Juniour, very good morning to you. The deadline has been met by some, but some may have not met the deadline. What's happening out there as you take stock of what the latest is on the ground?
Good morning to you, Mpo, and to our viewers. Yes, today we are actually in Ekurhuleni in Daveyton, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to lead the ANC's campaign here in Gauteng. All the top 7 officials are actually in Gauteng campaigning ahead of those elections. We know that Gauteng is one of those provinces that are expected to be hotly contested alongside KZN as well as the Western Cape. So today the ANC is going to be in Gauteng. But speaking about the candidate list submission to the IEC, there are parties that have submitted the candidates lists, including the ANC as well. The ANC yesterday announced that it had submitted all of the lists, paid the deposit that are also required by the IEC, but there has been that leak of the ANC candidate list names, and it seems the IEC is taking full responsibility and saying that the leak has come from one of its officials. The ANC sent out a statement condemning the IEC for that list leak that happened, because yesterday the ANC had said that it will only comment or only share the list that it has sent to the IEC on Monday once the electoral committee chairperson Kgalema Motlanthe is available basically to comment on those names that find themselves in that list. There are only 4 names that are not going to be on the ANC list, despite there being almost 100 people that were implicated in the Zondo Commission. So those are some of the things that the ANC has to speak to when it campaigns on the ground. Why people that were implicated in the Zondo Commission still find themselves in the ANC list, despite the President Cyril Ramaphosa having said that his party is undergoing renewal and dealing with all of those individuals that were implicated in corruption. So we expect the ANC President to lead that campaign here in Ekurhuleni today, Mpo.
Juniour, when I spoke to Masego Shiburu, who's the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer at the IEC, and asked him about the role that the IEC plays in that leak, and also pointing to some of the accountability and the repercussions that will take place, he spoke about how they're investigating, but know for a fact that it is indeed one of their own. And as you mentioned the candidate lists and the caliber of people on that list, we know that some parties, very small parties like Bossa, Musi Maimana's party, he has said that, looking at the members on that list, they are all of a high caliber. They are not linked to any form of corruption. But we also know that the ANC itself has spoken about how the candidates on their list are willing to go through a lifestyle audit.
Indeed, Paul. But the ANC, despite making so many promises, we know that this 6th administration led by President Cyril Ramaphosa has been talking a lot about renewal, cleaning itself up. And one of the promises that they made to South Africans was that all the individuals that have basically tainted the image of the party by being implicated in wrongdoing, about 95 or 97 of the individuals, ANC members, were actually implicated in the Zondo Commission report. So they promised that we will not see those individuals in that final list by the ANC. But it seems like now they are singing a different song. They are saying that those individuals have not been formally charged, so they cannot be left out of that list, given that we don't know whether there will come a time when they will be formally charged and have to face any criminal charges, or the MPA pursue any criminal charges against them. So this is the reasoning why the ANC has actually allowed allowed them to be in their final list. Yesterday, the ANC spokesperson Mahlengi Bengo Mutsiri said that there were also internal processes, including rigorous interviews by the Electoral Committee, as well as the ANC's own Integrity Committee, having met with these individuals, where they explained to the Integrity Committee why they should be allowed to continue in that list. Most of these individuals refused to appear before the Integrity Committee. Only 5 of those almost 100 individuals appeared before the Integrity Committee, with the rest being sent to the ANC's Disciplinary Committee. But despite all of this, they still find themselves in that list. Only 4 individuals who are basically tainted, as we may say, were removed from that ANC list. But the ANC is not the only party that has individuals that are tainted. The IEC leaks also have revealed the Umkhonto weSizwe party's list. At the top of that list is former President Jacob Zuma. We know that former President Jacob Zuma was actually sentenced to prison in 2021, so he also finds himself in that list. So the IEC still has to go through those lists that were submitted by the parties and ensure that individuals that actually have been sentenced to prison for a term that is longer than 12 months do not find themselves in that list. The IEC has already pronounced itself on former President Jacob Zuma, saying that he is not eligible to stand for either provincial or the national legislature, but his party has seen it fit to include him in that list. So there's still going to be a lot of vetting that comes from the IEC side, Mpho.
And very lastly, Junior, as the ANC makes its way to Ekurhuleni, I mean, what are the residents expecting? More so after we've heard commitments to potholes, sewage, and all sorts of service delivery challenges being a thing of the past. What are residents facing on a day-to-day, and what are some of the expectations?
Ekurhuleni has actually been battling a lot with load shedding, with service provision such as water provision as well. But on the ground, as we were driving to where the president is going to be, a lot of people are just excited to see the head of state. They're just excited to see the president. Some of them are not even wearing ANC colors, but they just want to see the president in person. So there's still that excitement despite the challenges that the communities are actually facing. But one or two individuals that we managed to speak to are talking about the president addressing the issue of service delivery, because that's a main concern. Unemployment has also been another issue that a lot of South Africans, not just individuals here in Ekurhuleni, have been complaining about, saying that the high unemployment that keeps rising is causing a problem for a lot of people. We know that just last month the unemployment rate rose from 31.9% to 32.1% in the third quarter of last year. So it keeps increasing, and it doesn't seem like the current administration has a plan on solving this higher unemployment, despite the lots of promises that were actually given by the ANC when it launched its manifesto in Moses Mabhida Stadium last month.